Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to probably one of the most intimidating needy modules ever, Twisty Wire Hexaterminals. So on this grid, what we have here, before the panel opens, this is the way the module is going to look. So we're going to have, and once the panel opens, once the module activates, we're then going to see a series of wire hexaterminals, as the name suggests. And what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to pay attention to what the module generates, because what's going to happen is there's going to be a series of different colors for inputs and outputs. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and navigate the input of the respective color to its output. And you'll see what I mean in just a moment. But effectively speaking, we're going to want to pay attention to where the beginning of the specific color of the input is and the ending for it. And as you can see here we go. So we're going to want to find a way to get to the magenta input. And by the way, the inputs will always have the white border, and the outputs will always be the border of the color that needs to go there, effectively. So in this case, we're going to want to find a way for the magenta to actually get here. So we might need to change a couple paths because this is the green output as well. So let's be very careful with that. But effectively, this is what we're going to be working with here. So now we're going to need to change things a little bit so we can get this yellow to work over here, which I believe is actually quite simple. So if we go here, so we need to get this up at some point. So we probably actually do want to go up like this. Okay. We might be onto something. Maybe. Maybe not. But effectively, what the main goal of this is we do not want the mod to run. We do not want any inputs to run into any other inputs. That is going to cause problems for us, and that's going to give us a strike. We simply do not want that. Trying to figure out the solution for this one. I feel like it should be really simple. Oh, here we go, maybe? And so I guess for an example, I want to give an example of them running into each other. Kind of badly. Oh, there we go. That was actually less simpler than we thought. And now we need to get green over in its correct position in the time limit here, which is 23 seconds. So let's see if we can do this fast enough. So I'm going to do less talking and more of planning here. Okay. And like the inputs going to the wrong outputs is completely fine. But in this case, there we go. I got an example of that.
That's not it.
As you can see, the input of the green met with the input of the magenta, and therefore that gave us a strike and the module will be completely reset. So that can happen, and that's why I would advise in situations like that, we have to be really, really careful with how we move around with the different wires. The ideal world would be the wires have nothing to do, the colors have no paths that have anything to do with each other effectively. But that is not going to be the case. There's going to be a lot of colors. There's going to be a lot of the wire hexaterminals that are going to have to require going to the same spot. But some of the spots allow the wires to go over and some of them to go under, effectively not interacting with each other, if you know what I mean. So that's the goal of this module, is trying to figure out how you can get the path to work while making sure that none of the inputs run into each other, like so in that previous example. So let's wait for one more to generate. I don't know how long it takes for these things to reset, but it does take a while.
Not the answer, I'm afraid.
Let me see if I can get this to reset. It doesn't reset on strike. That's only for the first activation. Okay, here we go. All right, and in this case, we're only working with two examples. It will generate always at least one pair, but the timer actually is adjusted for this case. For 3 pairs, it will always generate a timer of 99. In this case, it's around 80 seconds because it generally is a lot quicker. So let's get this green one taken care of first. This one looks pretty simple to do, although could be not as simple as it looks. It's not wanting to cooperate with me the way that I want it to. It has to go this way somehow. And this module is very tricky. I'll be honest with you. It is a very, very tricky mod to do. It's not nice. Not nice at all. The yellow one's fairly simple to do. Yeah, there we go. It's just this green one is very weird. Maybe I'll... Oh, there we go. I accidentally got it. Okay, there we go. As you can see, sometimes it's not always the most straightforward path, but I got really, really lucky there at the end. It's very tricky, and that's why it gives you a lot of time, and it even adjusts for getting multiple of the multiple colors, effectively. So just be very careful with that. I want to do one more example of this, but it's very heavy on the expert side, and there's not really much not very heavy, sorry. Very heavy on the diffuser side. There is nothing the expert can do to help. It is 100% a diffuser-only puzzle. So you just got to be very careful with it. Don't have any inputs that run into each other. I would advise doing the inputs one at a time, because I would advise doing each color individually one at a time. There might be changes that you have to make, in which case I would advise making sure that the other color, the color that you have a correct position for, but need to adjust some spots, I would advise simply breaking the string at some point where you know for a fact the green, like the other color, will never interact. So say, for example, you had the yellow figured out early, but there has to be some cell that the green has to come and interact with, but you're worried that twisting it might make the inputs line up. Simply just destroy what the string is, like pretty early on, so that it doesn't have any issues into running it. Obviously, make sure that when you do that, there isn't going to be any problems either. But that's probably my best advice that I can give for this. And sometimes it can simply just generate one, where you don't have to worry about that at all. It will always be at least one pair, like so. And for the most part, these ones are very easy, and it gives you a lot less time for sure this time around. And that's a solved mod. So there was one of each type, each number of times they can appear. I believe the max is 3. I could be very wrong on that. But there will always be at least one. You'll find 2s and 3s are very common. I don't believe there's a 4th. I'm just going to say it outright. I don't believe there's a 4th, simply because of the way that the mod generates. It might not work. It just simply might not be possible to do that. So just be very careful with it. Take your time, of course. It gives you plenty of time, but obviously some examples are tricky. You do have to kind of be on your way with it. But overall, it's not the worst thing. It looks intimidating, but it really isn't that bad. So let's kill that 2 Mandola, and therefore let's call it a day with that. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.